What's going on, people? It's Greg here with another Excel VBA tutorial video. Today we'll be going over how to save a range as a PDF that's tailored for a group of recipients that we choose, and then send an email to that group based on the selection we make. So let's get into it. All right, on the left, I've got my VBA editor. On the right, I've got 3 columns here representing 3 groups of recipients that we want to send different ranges to. And each of those columns will be sent for this list here, for this range, and then for this range. So this first column corresponds to this list of 10 countries, and then top 5 will be the top 5 countries with the region, and then top 3 will be top 3 countries with the region and population. All right, and then here on the bottom right is the file or the folder we're going to be saving our file to. All right, so let's get right into the code here. Well, actually, no. First, let's create a drop-down. So that way we can send our email based on the drop-down that we make. So to make the drop-down, we're just going to go to Data, and then we're going to go to Data Validation, and then List, and then Source. Just going to be these headers we have here. Let's make it simple. And hit OK. So now our drop-down has top 10, top 5, top 3. All right, so we'll start with top 10, and then we'll just right here send email to, put a colon. And we can even add like a button in here. So let's do that. Let's insert a button. Illustrations, shapes, icons, student icon. All right, let's do the world or something, right? Let's do this one. All right, so now we've got our button in here, and we're going to, let's call this sub send PDF based on recipients. All right, and then let's right click here, assign macro, and we've got this one here, send PDF based on recipients. All right, so now whenever we click this button, this macro will run. And just quick so we can see, let's do a little quick hello world. All right, so if I click, you see hello world. All right, so let's declare our variables. Sorry, I just wanted to get that in a better position. That's fine. Okay, let's declare variables. We're gonna have OutApp as Object, OutMail as Object, Worksheet 1, WS1 as Worksheet, we're gonna have Worksheet 2 as Worksheet. We're gonna have our PDF range as range. And then we're gonna have our PDF path. Let's have that as string. And then the selection we make, so this, for this drop down that we choose, we're going to, let's just call that selection as a string. And then we're going to have our subject for our email. And let's make that a string. Let's also do, so sendTo, let's just call it sendTo. This is going to be how we gather our list that we choose to send these PDFs to. So that's also going to be a string. And then we're going to have our recipient count, so the number of recipients we count. Let's just call that REC count as an integer. And then we're going to have to also count the rows on each of these tabs as well as the columns, so we know, so we can have a dynamic range, so we can adjust for that. So we're going to do that as an integer, our column count as an integer as well, and then we'll just do I and J. All right, so let's first set OutApp. It's a lot of variables. All right, set OutApp equal to create object, and we want the Outlook.Application, and we're going to set OutMail equal to OutApp CreateItem 0. All right, and then let's go ahead and set worksheet 1 equal to ThisWorkbook.Sheets, and the sheet name you see is Recipient, so put Recipients there. All right, so now our selection is going to be equal to WS1, so this worksheet, and then we're going to want cells. It's going to be 1 and then 2, so 1 over 2. And we want the text. So 1, 2 represents B1 in this case. All right, so then depending on which one we select, let's just go ahead and do an if-else statement. So if selection is equal to WS1, cells will do, so 1, 2, 3, down 3 and 1, so 3, 1, text. Then we're going to set I equal to 1, and then we're also going to set WS2 equal to this workbook sheets, and we want sheet 1 in this case. All right, and then we're going to say else if selection is equal to WS1 cells, and then we're going to do 3, 2, so down 3 over 2, text. Then I is going to be equal to 2, and we're going to set WS2 equal to this workbook sheets, sheet 2. And then we don't have to do another else if, we'll just say else, because there's only one other option here. So we'll set else, we'll set I equal to 3 and set WS2 equal to this workbook sheets, sheet 3. All right, and then we're going to end our if. Okay, so now what we need to do is, once we determine which worksheet we're going to be opening, we're going to need to count the number of rows and columns. So let's go ahead and activate. So WS2, we're going to activate whichever sheet we choose, and then we're going to get our row count and our column count. So row count is going to be equal to WS2 cells rows.count 1, and we're going to do Excel up, counting up, and then our column count is going to be equal to WS2 cells, no, not that, it's going to be 1, and then columns count, and we're going to do XL to the left column. Okay. So let's just quickly do a quick message box to see that we have the right numbers here. So this should give us our row count and column count. So I'll say I make the selection top 10, right? If I run this, we've got 11, so see, we're at 11 and then 1. And then if I do 5, and here to check, we've got 6 and 2 as our row count and column count. And you know, you get catch the drift. So we know we're good with there, so let's go ahead and get rid of that and keep going. So now let's set our PDF range equal to WS2 range, and then cells 1, 1. So we're starting at 1, 1. So this cell, so say we're here, we're going to start here at 1, 1, and then we're going to go down our column or row count and then over our column count. So that will set our range dynamically for us. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and go back to WS1. We're going to activate that and start working from there. Now that we have our range, and our subject is going to be equal to WS1 sales, and let's incorporate the headers here in our subject line. So we'll say sales down 3 and then over I. So remember we said I up here. I is equal to 1, 2, or 3 at this point. So if we select top 10, I will be 1. If we select 5, it'll be 2. If we select 3, it'll be 3. So we're going to have I as our variable for that. And we want the text. And then we'll say, so this is going to be a subject line in our email. So it's going to say top 10, top 5, or top 3. And then we're going to add an ampersand and say space, most populous countries in the world. Okay, and then we're going to get our recipient count. So that's going to be WS1 cells rows, similar to what we did before, rows count, except we're going to use I. And you saw we used the 1 here because we're starting in the first cell. Here we're going to be starting at I because it's going to be dependent on the selection that we make. So I end XL up row. Okay. So now we're going to use a for loop. So with our variable J, so we want to start here in row 4. So J equals 4 to our rec count. Now that we've got our recipient count, our recipient count is going to give us 7 in this case, 4 in this case, and then here it's going to give us 11. And then we're going to set J equal to 4, and it's going to start iterating down until it hits the recipient count. All right, and then so next J, and then side of this loop, what we're going to do is set sendTo. So sendTo is going to be the compilation of all of our recipients, and how we're going to do that is we're going to set sendTo equal to itself and WS1 cells JI text. So that would be, in this case, 4 and then 1. So it'd start here, and then we want to add a semicolon so that Outlook will be able to determine what the email addresses are. They can distinguish between email addresses. So we're going to add a semicolon by using an if statement. So if J is not equal to the recipient count, because you don't want to have an extra semicolon on the end. So as long as it's not equal, we're going to go ahead and add one by doing this. sendTo equals sendTo and semicolon. Let's put a space in there too. Okay. So let's keep on going. And then I guess we can quickly just see what sendTo looks like once we get to this point. So we say we choose top 10. There should be 4, right? Oops. Oh, this should be an equals. Boom, just like that. We've got our recipients list. All right, so let's get rid of that and keep it moving. So let's set our PDF path equal to Let's grab it. Let's be lazy and just copy address as text here. And I can just paste it. And let me do a backslash and continue this on the next line. So I'm gonna do quotation, ampersand, underscore, go to the next line. And let's go ahead and call the file. Well, we know, let's include our selection here, right? So this will be B2 or 1, 2. This will be this. We're gonna include this, whatever this cell is, we're gonna include that in the name. So let's go with, and it's called selection, a variable. So we're gonna do selection. And then we're gonna add a space. And put population data. Just keep it simple. PDF. All right. So that's our path. And then just a quick note. You can align your PDF or align your range in your PDF using this here. So we're gonna do ws2 dot page setup. Center horizontally and set that equal to true. If you set it equal to false, you know, it won't be in the center of your file. So just a quick note there. All right, so let's keep it going. All right, and then PDF range. Let's bring this up some. Okay, nice. PDF range. We're going to export this. Type. We're going to do Excel type PDF. And the file name is going to be our PDF path that we got here. And then open after publish. We'll set that equal to false so we don't have to see it when it pops up, when it gets published. All right, so now we want to create our email. Let's go ahead and run it as it is right now, see what we got. All right. And you see, we've got our top 10 from sheet 1. And just quickly, you saw I was in the center there. If I were to set this equal to false, it's going to be off here to the side. All right. So let's keep it going. I know this is a long one, but we're going to make it through. All right. So now let's create our email. On error. Resume next. So with OutMail, end our with. So we're going to send this to our sendTo variables that we're using for that. We're going to CC no one, BCC no one. Our subject is going to be equal to subject, the variable that we chose. And let's just throw the date in there for fun. So format date, month, day, dash year. And then we're going to do display so we can see it displayed before it gets sent out. And then HTML body, we'll do equals sorry, should be a quotation there. All right, so body style, let's do font family, or font size, sorry, font size 12 point. And then font family, let's do Calibri. And then move on to the next line. And then we could just say, hi team, choose a paragraph break. Please see attached PDF file. Another paragraph break. Let's go to the next line. And then say thanks with a regular break, Greg. And then we've got to end it off with HTML body. All right, and then attachments, add, and it's going to be our PDF path. All right, so now we'll say on error, go to 0, and then we'll set OutApp equal to nothing and set OutMail equal to nothing. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. Oh, I can just click on this button. All right. All right, so something happened here. Let me get rid of this on error, resume next, and see. Okay. So let's close that. Let's try to run it again. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. All right, so yeah, there's our file for our first selection. And we've got our recipients here that we listed down. And if you open this file, the recipient will see the PDF. And then, so we can change here, change this. And now we've got top 3, different range, different set of recipients. And then also, if you don't want to save the files, you can just simply do this here. And you can say kill PDF path. That way, the file gets removed immediately. And the email still goes out. I should probably add a space after the world, right? So let's do that. Let's put a space. Okay, so let's do top 5. Hit our button to get our macro running. And look, we got the one recipient. We've got our PDF based on sheet 2 here. And then we've got our subject that's been updated. All right, so let me see if I could drag this down some. So I've got all these recipients, and then let's change this size. Change that to true. Let's go back here, run it. Now I've got all those recipients here, and then the range also changed. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one.